Right, what's up, worldwide family? Welcome back to the channel, Jimmy Flipping Deals. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're new to the channel, I am a part-time to full-time reseller on places like eBay, Amazon, you name it. Pretty well, I am there in some capacity. I do have my favorites, as I talked about yesterday. I have kind of changed the way I have been doing business lately, but that's what I do as my main source of income. Matter of fact, we're coming up right at 9 months doing this thing for myself now. I've been in business for a little over 3 years, I believe, something like that. But for the last 9 months, I have not had to punch a time clock. I have not had to wake up to an alarm clock. Matter of fact, in the last 9 months, I can count the times I woke up to an alarm clock on one hand, and 95% of those, I'm not a mathematician on that, but go with me here. The vast majority of those have been to go see family. So that it's a beautiful thing. I will take that over the traditional 9 to 5 rat race any day of the week and every day of the year. I have been happier. I have been more rested, and it is such a beautiful thing. And I know deep down in it that if I can do it, anybody can do it. Now I know that I am not necessarily making as much money as I did when I was working my main income and my business, but I have successfully replaced the income that came from my main job, which is just beautiful. I do side work, I do a little bit of this and a little bit of that to cover the slack from sales being slow during this time of year. By the way, as of today, eBay alone is up 39.8% month over month, and I couldn't be happier about that. Hopefully, we're going to do nothing but speed up this year. I know last year, summer slowdown did not hit. I am hoping this year it does not hit again. Spring forward just all of the way. I wanted to talk to you today about whether or not CPC's, cost per clicks, are a viable or a worthwhile thing for the majority of us as resellers. Being that I said month over month, I'm up 39.8% with the offer of eBay's cost per click beta program rolling out. Do you think that it plays a part in that? I will tell you right now that it does not. It absolutely does not. And CPC's cost per clicks for most of us, whether or not we are thrift arbitrage or retail arbitrage, I do not see it. Correct me if I'm wrong. I would love for you to enlighten me. I would love for you to prove me wrong. I would love it. But for the vast majority of us, it's not a worthwhile thing to do, in my humble opinion. I definitely don't know everything. I've only been doing this a few years, but I can't see it being worthwhile for anyone that doesn't either A, have bukus, a lot of inventory of the same SKUs, or have their own products that are, again, multiple quantity SKUs. I cannot see paying cost per click in order to sell a one item listing. It just doesn't make any sense. So if y'all try it and have beautiful results, let me know. But otherwise, use your head and don't get caught up in trying to give away all of your profits to make a sale. I am happy to announce, like I said, up 39.8%. That actually, on eBay alone, that actually is not there has not been one contributing factor to that. Although list more, sell more is a real thing, I have not really listed any more this month than I did last month or any other month. It's just that traffic is up for me. Conversion is about the same window shopper conversion that we experienced last month, but there's more people that are hitting that buy button, which is a beautiful thing. I think the cost of Christmas hit people hard in January, and I think there is a portion of the population that is beginning to right themselves financially. That we're broke last month and aren't so broke this month. Y'all let me know how y'all are doing as far as sales and as far as that pocketbook goes. Did you overextend during the Christmas season, or did you play it conservative? Did you play it close to the belt? You know, I watch people that talk about financial budgeting and financial practices, and I think so many times that a lot of us as Americans spend, and Americans all encompassing everybody in America, as Americans we spend way too much, quite possibly than what we can afford on some of the most, I think frivolous is the right word, frivolous pursuits. Like case in point, the average household pays $105 a month for cable, which just is an incredible amount of money for me personally to think about, seeing that I haven't paid for cable in like 5 years. You know, I don't do it. I don't watch TV. I know people put value on different things, but if you add that up, give me just a second. If you add that up, $100 a month times 1,200 times 5 years, that's $6,000 difference in my pocketbook as opposed to the majority of Americans, right? You know, I see people in these big old $75,000 trucks that are just absolutely beautiful. But I realize that realistically, for the majority of Americans to actually be able to afford those, and I see 3 or 4 right here at this intersection, for the majority of Americans to actually be able to afford those without the struggle that spending that kind of money presents, you have to be in the top 1%. You just do. You know, I personally drive a vehicle, and this is a little bit much at the moment because I've decided to take on a few repairs that I just don't have time to complete. But nevertheless, I took on a car 5 years ago, 100,000 miles ago. You're supposed to be in my ear. 5 years ago, that cost me 5% of my income, 5%. So a $75,000, in order for it to be proportionately ratioed out for me to afford without any more struggle than what I currently live, a $75,000 vehicle, I would have to, for me to feel comfortable, be making $1.5 million a year. You know, people are paying these astronomical prices. Don't get sucked into the game, guys. There's another one of those huge trucks that are just absolutely beautiful. And I know that's why people get sucked into it. They are beautiful, they are nice, and they spend a good percentage of every paycheck. Even if they make double what I do, every paycheck paying for those things. You know, their insurance, within a few months probably covers what my car was 5 years ago at 100,000 miles. And it's seen better days. It has. I'll give you that. But it was much prettier 5 years ago at 100,000 miles ago. But there's so many things in our everyday life that we spend. People don't have the money for things, so they go into debt to buy them, and then they're paying 25% interest just to afford them. And if you're doing it for any reason, you're playing the wrong game. But if you're doing it to keep up with the Joneses, that is a horrible, horrible place. I can see needing a set of tires and not having the money and figuring, okay, if I spend $500 now, I'll pay an extra $100 a month for the next 5.5, 6 months and call it done because of the interest rate. I can see doing that if you need it on an emergency basis, but the vast majority of people, I think they said the average American is in debt like $35,000 to the tune of 20% interest. That means they're paying $6,000 a year in interest, and I can't see it. I know this is a reselling channel. I know this is a little off topic, but holy cow, spend your money wisely. All right, I've got to go do something. I'll be back.